Hi, this is Carrie Saxton from By the Well Counseling. I'd like to talk with you today about how do you know if your childhood is affecting you from having a good adulthood. So, I've worked with a lot of clients and I've never had anybody say that they really want to be a victim of their childhood. Nobody wants to go around, blaming their adult problems on their childhood self. Well, maybe there are some people that want to do that, but people that are invested in feeling better and having more positive relationships aren't typically trying to be a victim. So, what I find is, though, that it's hard sometimes for us to really take an honest evaluation and identify whether or not childhood issues are affecting your adult self today. So I'm going to give you 3 different indicators that your childhood may be affecting your adulthood. The first is if you find that your relationships are suffering. Now, we all have had relationship baggage of some kind or another. Everyone has it. No one is immune from relationship issues. But if you find that you are making the same types of relationship mistakes, for example, the last 3 guys, they were really all the same guy with different names, or you find that you get in this conflict pattern every time, either you're avoiding conflict or you're overwhelmed by it, or you're facing it head on and maybe are a little bit too aggressive. If you're finding that you're having some of these same relationship patterns over and over and over, and you would also say, that's how my mom responds to things, or that's what I learned from watching my parents interact, or this was the relationship that I had with another adult authority figure, for example, in my childhood. That might be an indication that your childhood is now affecting your adulthood, because we know what we know from modeling, from watching other people in our lives, and we internalize those patterns whether we like it or not. Sometimes we don't want to be doing the things that we saw as children, but we end up finding ourselves falling back into that same pattern of behavior. Another indicator that your childhood might be affecting your adulthood is if there are times where you don't feel like an adult. Let me explain. So I've had several people tell me, sometimes I just feel like a little kid. I feel helpless. I feel like I can't do things that I know full and well I can do. I know that as an adult, I'm able to get out of bed in the morning. I know that I'm able to change jobs, but I feel stuck in this job. I know that I'm able to make positive changes or stand up for myself when someone's belittling me. I know in my head that I'm able to do that, but when I actually go to do it, the emotional response that comes up just makes me feel like I'm a little kid again. That might be an indication that there's some work to be done. And the third way you might happen to know if your childhood is affecting your adulthood is if you are having intense emotional reactions that aren't tied to the present situation. So, for example, if you go through your day and something happens in the present, whether it's a relationship interaction or whether you're trying to problem solve something, and you find that your reaction is like a 3, the situation may be about a 3 on a 0 to 10 scale, okay? But your reaction that you engage in is more like an 8, then something from the past is getting pulled up in that moment. And understand that your brain is constantly linking situations together, does that to protect you, and that's a good thing, but it can also cause problems. So if your brain has linked in that a certain situation, for example, is unsafe, this could be driving. So if your brain has decided that driving is unsafe because maybe you rode in a car with some people that were using drugs or alcohol and it was a scary experience for you, maybe you got in a severe car wreck, maybe you had some intense reactions while driving at one point or another in the rain. So your brain has linked some things together. And so your reaction to driving may be a lot scarier than the driving itself, if that makes sense. So if you're noticing you're having intense periods of sadness or anxiety or anger that just don't seem to quite fit with what's actually going on in the situation, that might be an indication that your childhood is affecting your adulthood. The good news is that there is a lot of work that can be done, and it's a really good process to work on family of origin issues. It will help you improve your relationships. It can help improve self-confidence and how you feel about yourself, and you are well worth the work. So I encourage you to find a counselor that you can do some of that work with. And if you are in Tennessee, I have an in-person practice in Smyrna and an online practice anywhere that you are. You can find out more about me at www.bythewellcounseling.com.